What's happening, everybody? Louis here of the Frozen Pirate Podcast, here with my beautiful girlfriend here, Miss Aubrey. We have a special treat for you guys. We're going to be talking to Shanda Roberts, Elijah Roberts' mom of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. She has a wonderful cause, Pain to Purpose. We actually interviewed her at the Tampa Sports Collectors Expo, but the audio levels weren't the best, and I wanted to make sure that you guys got a really good interview. But without further ado, let's bring in Miss Roberts. How we doing?
I'm good. How are you? Happy Sunday.
Sunday, yeah. Believe me, I do the same thing. It's wild. How's the weather where you're at? Because right now in Massachusetts, it's wonderfully cold and rainy.
Oh God, it's hot outside. It's probably about 90 degrees, maybe.
Yeah,
Scorching.
yeah.
Scorching.
See, you're in Miami, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you
It's
guys are lucky.
77 right now, but it felt like it was 90.
Yeah, not out here. We got like a little burst of warm weather, and
Hmm.
then I left for Tampa to do the Sports Collectors Expo. When I left Tampa, it was 32 degrees. That's
Oh my
that
goodness.
Tuesday. I was just like, what's going on here? I went outside with my bag. I had shorts on and a t-shirt ready to board the flight. I had my sweatshirt. And then I'm just like, it's 32 degrees. I'm like, nope, back inside. Let's change. And I went wearing the sweatpants. But I wanted to bring you on because, like I said in the intro, we did a fantastic interview, and I'm actually happy because you were the very first person I interviewed at the Tampa Sports Collectors Expo.
Oh wow.
Uh,
I feel honored.
yeah, and it's unfortunate that the audio levels were off. Technology, right? We just had issues with technology a second ago. But
Yes.
talk about pain to purpose and what that is, because I really want to get the message out there. And I want you guys to talk a little bit because, like I said, you guys have very similar backstories. Because I really want to get your message and your foundation out there so people can donate and help out.
So Pain to Purpose was created because I am a survivor of domestic violence. So the abuse I experienced started when I was 15. I married my abuser at 19, and then we divorced, and I was finally set free around, I want to say, I can't remember, it was 22, 23 years of age. I always try to go back to my court records to remember, but with age, things
Yeah.
just, sometimes forget some things. So I started this nonprofit because there were a lot of things I didn't know going through the situation I was in. I did not recognize signs, did not recognize all the red flags, everything I was going through. I thought there was something else, meaning to it. Meaning, like, when the abuse started, it didn't start off with physical, right? It started off with control and obsession and telling me where to go, what to do. And I confused that with thinking that he loved me and that he wanted
Mhm.
me to be around him all the time, which is why he didn't want me to hang with my friends, and not realizing he was setting the tone for how this relationship would be. He was literally setting the tone for the abuse to start later on, which it did, and it lasted well over 9 years or so.
Wow.
And I wanted to make sure that I use my voice to help others in that situation. um I did not have to go live in a shelter, thankfully, but I with our organization, we visit survivors in the shelter. We take them purses stuffed with hygiene products, just as a token of, hey, we're here for you. This moment will not be the end of your story. There's victory after this. And we want to just encourage them that just because you left already, and this is your start of your new life. So we take purses just as a token, you know what I mean? Let them know you're not alone. We're out here with you. And also, sometimes people leave without the necessities. They leave without their hygiene products because they're trying to run and just get away. But also, I started the Stuff Up, which is called a Stuff a Purse initiative. I started that part of that started first before Pain to Purpose started, because I saw a lot of things going around regarding toys for tots, and a lot of people going out to the shelters giving out toys for the kids. And as a mom, we just want our kids to be happy. So if our kids are happy, we're happy, right? But then
Right.
I was like, what about the moms? Who's giving the mom something? So that's when I started collecting purses or purchasing purses, whatever I could at the time. and I was asking people, just friends, people, social media, hey y'all, if you can you donate a purse stuffed with hygiene products? I want to take it to the shelter for moms for Christmas. And that kind of just grew from there. So stuff a purse started first, and then I started getting requests to speak at different events. And then Paint a Purpose kind of just grew from there.
Nice. That's crazy. Now, I got to ask you, how much does it cost just to fill one of those purses, and what are some of the products and stuff like that?
So to fill a purse, so I have gone to like stores like DD's or Ross, or you can find a purse for $15. That's a good, decent
Right.
purse.
Mhm.
And then maybe another 20 to fill the purse, maybe $25 to fill the purse. So we put lotion and body spray and shampoo and conditioner, the little poof, I forgot what they're called, to use the body wash with,
Yeah.
toothbrush, toothpaste. We put sunglasses in there. We may put a pack of chewing gum in there,
Yeah,
and we
yeah.
also put gift cards in there. If we have it, we'll put like a Publix gift card or a gas card, whatever we have at the time. If we have the funds, we also add that in there so they can get whatever they need. We put hair ties, hair brushes, hair combs, perfume, whatever females use that we can think of. We stuff it in the purse.
That's really thoughtful, and like I said, that must be very busy to do something like that.
Yes.
But it's definitely it's different, and I don't really know anybody that does that. So, congratulations to you for doing that. And
Thank you. Thank
not
you.
only do you guys, you want to talk a little bit about your backstory?
Yeah, so when you were talking it renaissance with me, sorry, I have a very strong accent.
Amber, you are so. I was. You are so beautiful. It was nice to
Oh,
meet
thank
you.
you. Thank you. Nice to meet you too. I've been
Thank
excited
you.
to talk with you. He's told me a lot of good things about you.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
and to go back to my story, I was 17. I was with somebody who was 10 years older than me. And like you were saying, it starts off like with the mental things, like
Mm-hmm.
you can't look a certain way. I was always in the house, didn't go out with my friends. And it was more like, oh, like you shouldn't hang out with these people. They're not good for you. But really it was like possession, and I
Yeah.
didn't realize that at the time because I was so young, you know what I mean? That I thought
Mm-hmm.
like this is love, but it took getting older after, a pattern of things that really wasn't love, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so just like not to get into specifics, but I ended up getting pregnant with my first child at 17, and it was just mental abuse, physical abuse, and you start to blame yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really tell people my story because I don't want to relive those moments, but then I think to myself, like, I watch other people telling their stories and it's inspiring, and telling your story can save somebody's life. You know what I mean? They
Yes.
could be going through something and not know how to get out. And hearing like someone else talk about what they've been through and how they got out, and it can inspire them, like, I can get out of this. You know what I mean? Before it's
Mm-hmm.
too late. Because sometimes it does end up unfortunately being tragic for some people. And for me, what ended up happening is that I think the best thing for me is that he ended up going to prison when I was 4.5 months pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not good for him, but in a way, it was my way to get away from that. But I was still dealing with the phone calls, like the control with him being in jail, like just calling me names, any name in the book, you know what I mean? It was just,
Yeah.
and it took a while to get away from that because I was still always away from, always with his family. Like I was living with his family at one point, and that's kind of where like they keep that control while they're in prison too. Like, well, she's with my family and across the United States where I didn't know anybody. You know what I mean? So it took
Yes.
it took some time to get away from that. And my question to you is, if you don't mind me asking, how did you get away from your situation?
It took a couple of times. Statistics say that victims leave 7 times before they leave for
Mhm.
good.
Wow.
And I know I left quite a few times, and I always uh, was brought back either by force, threatened, or I just went back because I knew that he was going to find me anyway.
Yep.
But I finally, we had a situation where he tried to attack me, and I stabbed him. And we ended up both going to jail. And us going to jail, there was a correctional officer in there, and she said, "I don't know what happened or what's going on with you or what the situation may be, but you're gonna have to get out of this before you end up in prison for life." She said because the knife, 4 more inches, the knife would have stabbed his heart. And I was like, "But he's always beating on me and so on and so on." She's like, "Yeah, but this time he didn't hit you. He attempted to hit you, and I protected myself
Yeah.
by stabbing him." And I was so afraid when she said that, like, God, I have to get out of this. I have to figure a
Yeah.
way out. And crazy as it may seem, the court allowed him to bond me out. He got out on bond, and I had to be bonded out. So I think he got on a pretrial, one of the two. But he got on pretrial. I got on a bond. He had to bond me out. So when he bonded me out, he just acted like it was a normal day. And when he asked me, did I want something to eat, I was like, "No, you crazy? I just got out of jail." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I could have, I could have
Yeah.
been gone for murder. I don't want anything to eat. I gotta figure out. I'm telling myself, I need to figure out how to get out of here. So domestic violence happens in waves. It's a cycle that happens. So there's the honeymoon stage, and there's the tension, the build up, and then there's the domestic violence that happens, and it keeps going like this. So that's why a lot of people in domestic violence situations are confused, because it's not abuse happening 24/7.
Yes.
There's moments of good times where you get confused and think, "Okay, you know what? Maybe this is over. Maybe now we're gonna have a good day. Maybe now our relationship is going to change." But unfortunately, that vicious cycle keeps happening. So I knew that we'll be back in the honeymoon stage in a minute, and I was going to plan my exit during that moment. I
Yeah.
knew that leaving during a time where it's tense and where it's volatile, he's not going to let me leave, because he'll stop working just to watch me make sure I'm not going to leave him. So
Oh
I
wow.
just waited until we were in a good moment. I was going to work. I said, "Hey, love you. See you later. Have a good day." And but every day I was taking my clothes out and taking it to a friend's house, and then eventually I just stopped coming back. I found a new job. I just left. And I went to my friend's house, told her what was going on. "Please don't tell anybody." I didn't tell my mom where I was at the time, because I just needed a moment to disappear and not anyone know where I am. Um Unfortunately, he ended up finding me, but that's another story for another day. But by the time he found me, I was with my now husband, George, and he, beauties don't ever want to see another man step to them. So once he saw I was with him, he left me alone, and left me alone for good. And me and George now have been together 25 years, and we'll be married 24 years next month. So I
Well,
always
congratulations.
come. Thank you.
Congratulations.
I always tell my husband that he, between him and I mean, with him and God, he saved me from that situation. Because, like I said, if he wasn't there, I probably would took him back out of fear,
Yeah.
because I always took him back. He was used to me taking him back. He was used to that cycle we were in. And I know if I didn't have someone there standing up for me, I probably would have taken him back, just because I didn't want him to attack me or whatever the case may be. So in our organization, we also have a workshop called #Exit Plan. And I teach victims how to leave abusive relationships safely, or teach people how to help someone they love how to leave an abusive relationship safely, because you can't just pick up your things and go. It's not that easy. People fail to realize that 75% of victims are murdered after leaving an abusive relationship.
Oh wow.
That's not something that is easy to do. Just don't pack your bags and, "Hey, I'm leaving you today." Because what happens with that abuser? They've lost control over the person they have been controlling for all this time. So after you leave, they snap. So that's where the 75% comes in, because even though some people have put a restraining order, and some people did the right thing, and they told someone where they were going, and they made, they put precautions in place to be safe, sometimes that abuser will still find you, which is why we try to prevent people getting in those type of relationships.
Yeah, that's it's sad. It's not an easy. It's not easy, and like I said, like you guys were saying, it seems like it's a vicious cycle, and it's a lot of mental too, because it's like that's all you know. You're trapped in that. But unfortunately for you, I mean, it turned out to be the best thing for you, and
Yes.
you also sing as well. Talk a little bit about that, because she sings as well, but she's very, I don't know, I don't want to get you upset here, but I feel like she needs a boost because she has a really, really, really nice voice. But talk about a little bit about your singing, and then I'll kind of let her do her thing there.
I do a little bit. I'm sorry, I hit put mute by accident.
No, you
I
can.
do a little bit of singing. So the crazy thing is, I didn't know I could sing at first. I was in my abusive relationship, and when I discovered my voice, because I was so young, when I discovered that I had a voice, I did not sing all the time. And when I would sing with him, he would somehow tell me to shut up or be quiet, or I just didn't feel like I had
Wow.
the space or the freedom to really use my voice. I think I sang one time in school, and that probably was it. But then once I started singing in the choir, and I started singing a little here and there. I'm like, okay, I could carry a key, carry a tune for a little bit. So that kind of just went from there. As I got older, the older I got, the more singing I did. I started singing at weddings and events, but I really didn't start singing until probably my late 20s. My late 20s, when I was way out of that relationship. And then I got booked to sing at the Heat game, probably right before COVID. And I've been singing for them since COVID. Every year I sing for them, maybe once or twice a year. And that's been
Wow.
since 2020. I want to say 2019 or 2020, one of those. No, 2019, I believe it was. I've sung with them
Yeah.
since 2019. And then yeah, so I've been doing that. And I sing in the choir. I sing in the choir at church, and I lead praise and worship at my church now.
Yeah, you did the Buccaneers game too, right?
Yes, and I did the Buccaneers game. I
That was
sang the anthem.
yeah, that was against the Carolina Panthers, right?
Yes, I did that on January 4th, the last home game for Tampa Bay. I sang the
How did
anthem. Very,
how
very
did
nervous.
why? A lot of
I
people.
was petrified. Oh my
And
goodness.
he doesn't understand that when it comes to singing and everybody's looking at you, you're like,
Yes. I wanted to run off of that field. I was like, I was looking around, and because rehearsal was fine, I'm like, okay, I got this. I can do this. I'm at rehearsal. I'm good. And then they said, okay, it's time. I'm like, what? Wait a minute. I couldn't breathe. My knees were shaking. I'm
Stadium
sitting
filled up.
around, stadium filled up. And then you got the cannons going off to my right. You have, I think, the color guard on my left. Then you have the team coming out the tunnel further down over there. You
It's a
have the
lot going on.
cameraman right here in your face, like maybe an arm reach from your face. Then I have the producer behind him asking me, am I ready? I'm like, no, I'm not ready. People, it's raining. I didn't
Yeah.
realize it was raining until after. I really did not even know why my hair was wet. I'm like, oh, I sang in the rain. I didn't even realize. That's how nervous I was. And I was standing around looking, and I'm trying to get my husband's attention because I'm panicking. And he's in his phone trying to figure out how to get the camera working. So he didn't even he didn't even look up at me. And I'm like, oh my God, no one's looking at me. I need help.
you were all by yourself in that
I was
panic.
all by myself.
That would be me.
I was so scared. And I was telling myself, I was in my head like, what if I walk off? Do they have a plan B? What if I don't sing? What if I just do?
They have a plan B.
They don't have a plan B.
I don't think so. I don't think they got a plan B.
I said, what if I just don't sing? Because I can't do that. I was like, Lord, what am I doing here? What have I done? This is what I'm doing myself. All of that, because I was there on the 50-yard line maybe 5 minutes before I had to sing, maybe 5 minutes. So this is all my thoughts in these 5 minutes. I'm deciding, should I get off the field? I said, no, I can't get off the field because Elijah works here. He gonna be the laughing stock in the locker room if I don't sing. What if I mess up?
You can't escape that.
So
You're
I
in
was
it
trying to
now.
get the words right in my head, making sure I don't mess. I sung the anthem a million times.
Mhm.
And I'm sitting in here telling myself, don't mix up the words. Remember, this comes first and this comes first. Because the anthem really doesn't make lyrical sense. You know what I mean? Because when I sing, I try to make a story out of the song, which usually a song is. So I can't picture the anthem in my head. I try to picture songs. That helps me remember what's the next line.
Mhm.
For some reason, I just cannot make that song make sense so that I can, tell a story.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was just nervous about that, and I just could not get it out of my head. It was a nervous wreck, but I got through it. It was good. I don't think it was the best I could have done, but I think I did a good job.
Yeah, but you know what? I give you credit for that because that's a hard song. And everybody's always, when somebody does the national anthem, people are always looking like, how's this one going to perform this song? Because this is like the song. You know what I mean? Once you do that, but there's always comparison like, oh, this one hits that note. You know what I mean? But it's a hard song. So I got to give you credit for that.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's hard. And I started singing the anthem. I'm sorry, I meant to take when I was telling my story. I started singing the anthem first at a bike race here in Miami. So I did that a few times. It was a bike race. They would have me sing maybe 2 or 3 times out of the season. And then that's how it kind of grew from there. So once I started singing in the bike race, my best friend, she used to be a Miami Heat dancer, and she used to be a Buccaneer cheerleader as well.
Oh,
So she said, "Girl, I'm gonna have you sing in the heat." I said, "Girl, don't play with me. I don't want to do that. I'm okay with my little bike race over here. I'm not trying
yeah,
to do all of that."
yeah,
And she was like, "No, I'm gonna send them your video because you should sing the anthem." And then it just kind of went from there.
good.
yeah. She's doing the Instagram stuff now where she's singing. And I told her you got to do more. You know,
Okay,
and
Amber, I gotta hear you.
I'm just trying to get the right equipment because it's always comparison to other people's videos. Like this one has all this, they sound good. And then I don't know, I
I
just feel like
know.
without the right equipment, it doesn't sound the way you want it to. You know what I mean? You're like, this isn't good enough, or like you think like the confidence isn't there. Like, should I post this? You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
he doesn't realize for me to start posting videos like that was a step, like a big step for me. You know what I mean?
it only
I've
took
Hmm.
been
you 8
singing.
years.
I've been singing since I was a little girl. Like when I had a stereo and cassettes, I used to put the cassette in and record myself. And I never liked the way it sound. You know what I mean? The way
Yeah,
it
yeah.
sounded.
Nobody, even like when I do like these podcasts, everybody's like, "Hey, do you listen to your shows?" And I'm like, "Absolutely not. No, because
Right.
I don't like the way I sound on the show." And I'm like, "Oh, that's so cringy, Louis. Why do you sound like that?" Like,
Yes.
I can't do it. Sometimes like if I had like a really funny episode like early on in the early stages of the Frozen Pirate podcast when I didn't know what I was doing and it seemed like a lot simpler times. Um, I go back and listen to those episodes and I'm just like, wow, we were just two idiots talking like but it was comical. It was great. Now, like I get too technical and I'm like, I don't want to listen to myself. Absolutely not. Like I won't go back and listen to any interviews I've done. Like only if I'm like editing, like when we did the Tampa Sports Collectors Expo, you have to go back. You have to listen to those. Even
Yeah.
those I have a hard time listening to. I'm like, "Ew, I cringe myself out. I don't know why. And everybody's like, you sound great. You have a voice for radio. And I'm like, really? You think so? Because I don't.
But you
But
know, Louis, I don't listen to I've been interviewed so many times. I've
mhm,
been on radio stations, TV. I have yet to go back and listen.
it's
I'm
tough.
gonna listen to a snippet of it just to make sure. And I don't listen to myself sing
Mhm,
unless I need to go back to see what key I'm in or whatever. I don't
mhm.
listen to it. But I will tell Amber, trust Louis when he tells you how you sound. Because one thing my husband's not gonna do is make me sound like a fool. Sound like a fool.
Yeah.
If I don't sound good, or if I sing a note that didn't work, he'll be like, "Oh, baby, I don't know about that." Try, you know what I mean? He'll tell me. Even if I feel I've done a horrible job, he'll be like, "What you hear? You did a great job." So I will say trust his ear with that, because one thing he's not gonna do is let you look stupid. He's
No,
not gonna do that.
I hope not.
no.
Yeah.
I try telling Aubrey all the time. I'm like, listen, like
Aubrey, why am I calling her Amber?
you called Amber.
Anybody?
She gets that a lot. That's funny because
I didn't even
Anybody stop
realize.
me? I'm
she
sorry.
gets that a lot. No,
No,
it's
it's
fine.
Aubrey. Sorry.
Aubrey. Okay.
I didn't even realize you said Amber.
I try because I'm really good with like you know what I'm saying audio stuff. I'm not like a professional or anything like that, but I know
Yeah.
what works and what doesn't work. And I just try to tell her like because I think her problem is she tries to overcomplicate it too much. She's thinking about it too much. And just stop thinking about it. Just do
Yeah.
it. You know what I'm saying? Just put one out there, and then that's how you learn. Because when you put yourself in
Yeah.
that uncomfortable situation, like I'm sure, like when you perform the national anthem at the Buccaneers at Raymond James Stadium, I bet you now the next go around will probably be a little bit easier. You know what I'm saying?
It'll be a little bit easier, but
Yeah.
I still, as much as I've done it for the Heat, I still get nervous. But
Yeah.
I'm not as nervous as the very first time. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I have a little bit more confidence. But my biggest thing is I just don't want to mess up. You know what I mean? I don't think I'm too much concerned. You don't want your voice to crack, of course. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's not really not if I can sing it or not. I don't want my voice to crack, and I don't want to mess up the words because there's no
Yeah.
going back when you're being recorded on TV. You got to just hurp and get it out. So that's the thing. But I would just tell Aubrey to, just listen to Lou and listen to it. Like there's nothing wrong with listening to yourself sing. I do it sometimes to make sure that I am not. I'm putting out what I think I'm hearing. You know what I mean? So sometimes we may be doing something with our voice that doesn't sound right to anybody else, but it sounds right to us. So
Hmm.
sometimes it's good to go back and listen to it, especially when I do praise and worship. Because sometimes I get kind of excited when I'm worshiping God. So I need to go make sure that I hit the right notes and that I did something, that sounded good. But other
Yeah.
than that, if he says you have a beautiful voice and you have a gift, then tap into that gift. But I'm with you on the recording about the microphones and stuff. I told you I have a microphone
Yeah.
here, I don't know what to do with it. So but I think I want to also set up my microphone so that it sounds good. And I would do more singing too if I had a good microphone or if I
Yeah.
knew how to do that. I see people sing and it sounds like they're in the studio. It sounds so good online,
Yeah.
So
And I'm like, how
yeah.
do I get? And then I'll just record something on my phone without,
well,
all this special
well,
stuff. And I'm like,
that's
it does not sound like what I'm
Right.
hearing in person. I'm like, that sounds terrible.
well
But
that's the issue because, like I said, a lot of people don't understand. You get what you pay for. Like obviously the stuff that I use now. I mean, I spent when I first started a podcast, I had these like cheesy microphones. When you go to mute, they'd make a click sound. It was just terrible. And they were really bad, but I thought I was doing the right thing. And then you start to see whatever, it's basically what you are comfortable and what you can afford spending. Obviously Rode has some really
Yeah.
good stuff. But singing on your phone is a little different. It's just, you don't have the soundboard to manipulate certain levels and stuff like that.
Right.
Because sometimes you get reverb and there's a lot of stuff that goes into
I
it.
don't know how to do any of that, by the way. The sound bar, I'm like, I wouldn't even know where to start. I'd be like,
Too
Chat
many buttons for
GPT,
you.
Chat GPT, help me out.
Too many buttons. I want to ask you about Elijah. How's his off season and what's his goals for this year for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Because obviously Mike Evans left, and that seems to be like the dark cloud in Tampa right now. I think the team's going to be just fine. There's a lot of talent on this team.
Yeah.
Talk to me about his situation and where he's at.
He's doing good. He's been here actually, just spending time with us, spending time with his siblings and family, and he's been training now for the past 2 months. February, March. We're in March. I think he started March, really training. I remember end of February. He's been doing a lot of training and getting his body right. And I know one of his main goal is he wants to just get stronger.
Mhm.
I know he's also doing some position work as well. And he's excited. He's ready to get back and do what he has to do. But he's excited for the future. As far as the situation with Mike Evans, yeah, it's a dark cloud. But like Elijah said, people got to do what they feel is best for them. There's no judging anybody for the decision they make because we don't know the ins and outs and whatever made them come to that decision. But I'm all for people doing what they feel is best for them.
Yeah, the show must go on. And like I said,
Yeah.
it's not just one guy that makes a team. There's other players on the
Mhm.
team, and this team just got to continue to move forward. I got to
Yeah.
ask you too, how proud were you when you heard his name getting called in the draft? Because that's a dream for a lot of moms.
Listen, I was elated. I was more happy to see him happy.
Mhm.
That's a stressful time. My husband and I have watched the draft for years. Just knowing boys that Elijah's played football with, or just watching it for a moment as parents. Never in my mind would I think Elijah would ever be in the draft. I didn't think he wouldn't. It never crossed my mind that
Mhm.
one day this will be him. We just watched to be watching it. He
Yeah.
played football to play football. We never said, okay, you playing football and you're going to NFL. That was never a dream or a reality until I think he probably got to college and was like, he maybe go to
Got a
the
shot
NFL
here.
one day. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, because that's when you start coaches started, like NFL coaches started noticing, and there's talk going around about the next level. But it was never something that was on our mind. I don't know what we were thinking about. We just was enjoying watching him play football. We enjoyed watching him do something that he loved to do. So the actual draft was stressful. You just don't know. You're
Right.
literally sitting there watching TV and waiting for his name to be called out of 200 and what, 40
Yeah.
something people. I don't
It's
even know how
7
much it is.
rounds,
Yeah,
284 picks or something like that. It's a lot.
it's a
That's
lot.
a
And
lot.
then
Yeah.
you start looking at the teams who flew him out for the 30 visit, I think it's called.
Yeah. Yeah.
You start looking at all the teams that called him out, the positions that they currently need, and they his name is still going by and still going, his name is not being called. And it was tension in there, and me and Elijah are really close, and we were sitting together on the couch. I think he got up from sitting next to me because he probably felt my stress. So he stood up like in the hallway by the TV. He moved from by me. And I remember I was sitting on the couch and I went in the room and I got on my knees and I prayed. I said, God, I don't know what's going to happen. This was on the day he got drafted. And I don't know what. So that was the second day? Friday. It was second day, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Thursday is the opening of the draft. That's the first round. Then the second and
Okay.
third round is Friday. Then the rest is Saturday and Sunday, I believe. I don't know.
Something like that. Whatever it was.
They changed these dates
Yeah.
all the time now.
I don't remember. But whatever day it was the day he got drafted. And I remember going in the room and I got on my knees. I said, Lord, I don't know what's going to happen, but whatever's going to happen, let it happen soon because I can't continue to watch my baby stressed like this. I was stressed. He wasn't doing anything, but I could see it over on his face. I could see it. I could just see it. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh my goodness. I came out the room after that prayer. I said, God, whatever you're going to do, Lord, please let it happen now because this, like, I can't keep doing this. And we had a draft party planned.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if they don't call his name, I'm canceling that party. So, like, I wasn't going to put him through that.
No.
So I went back. I went outside to get something to drink. My bonus baby was out there. I told him, I said, you all right? He said, yeah, I'm good. I said, I'm so stressed out. I said, I'm going back inside. I sat down and I heard two phones ringing. First of all, everybody had their phone on silent. They were not allowed to have their phone on.
Yeah, because that call comes in. Yeah, you want to take that call. Yeah.
So the two phones rung, and my mom's husband, I guess he forgot to turn his phone on silent. I heard it, but I didn't pay attention. You know what I mean? So I heard his phone ring, and then I heard Elijah talking, but I was doing something in my phone, and his agent said, Shanda, I'm like, what? She's like, look, Elijah. I said, oh my God. So I went and grabbed my phone. So I missed the whole phone call because I was in my phone doing something.
Yeah.
And I'm recording him and I just hear him saying, yes, sir. I'm ready to come. You know, I'm ready to do this, ready to do that.
Yeah.
And he finally hung up the phone and he just took this deep sigh. Like you could see the weight just lifted off his chest. And we all just screamed. Nobody knew where he was going. Nobody knew what team called him.
It was, yeah.
So we just screamed, and the plan was my brother, who was his uncle, he would tell him, and he would pick up a hat, but that went out the window. We were just too excited. Yeah. So he picked up the hat, and he showed it to his dad. I just started screaming. I don't know about no logos. I didn't know where he was going. I just started screaming because everybody else was screaming.
Just happy,
so,
yeah.
So I said, hey, where you going? And they're like, Tampa. I said, okay, Tampa, whatever.
Beautiful. But what is that, 3 hours up the road from you guys? Pretty much, right? 3
hours, like three and a half, maybe 4. You know what I mean? Bad. So I am just so excited. I was so excited about it. And then we had the TV on the wrong channel. We didn't even watch. We're streaming. So we didn't even see when they called his name on TV. We saw when they put his name across the screen. But whatever it was. It was a great moment. We celebrated, we cried, and he went straight into interview mode. He had to get an interview and he just had to keep doing things that same day. But it was amazing to see his hard work. Because he's been through a lot and he never gave up. He had every reason to quit. You know what I mean? Every reason to give up. And he persevered. He's so humble. I know people say that's a word that we use a lot, but he is very, very humble. He loves his family immensely. You know what I mean? And he has a.
When I first met you guys at the Tampa Sports Collectors Expo, I didn't even introduce myself. I was getting my stuff ready to set up, and he came right up to me. He said, hey, man, I'm Elijah. And I shook his hand. I'm like, oh, I'm Louis with the Frozen Pirate Podcast.
Wow.
I know who you are. And just that right there, because for me, I go off energy and vibes. And when he came up to me and introduced himself right away, because these players, a lot of these guys, they don't have to do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They got so much going on. And he's such a great kid. Like when he first came up to me and he reached out and shook my hand like right away, I was just like, wow, like I wasn't used to that. Like I was just like, and I looked right at Daniel. I was like, I like him. Like he's a good kid. Like he really is. And I get good vibes off of him. We didn't get the interview, but got the interview with you. And like I said, we're here talking and everything happens for a reason. I appreciate that. Like I said, and you were my first interview at the Tampa Sports Collectors Expo.
Thank you.
But he is great. And like I said, I hope nothing but great things for Elijah because I see how hard he works, especially in the preseason. I break down film and stuff like that, and I see him. And then I'm like, I really hope he gets to start this year because I really feel like he can make a difference on that defense.
Yeah,
I
thank
believe
you.
that he can make the much needed difference that they need. There's a lot of talk about Coach Bowles. A lot of people want him fired. And I'm just like, man, a lot of the fans, they don't know what goes into this stuff,
Yeah.
and it's just it's too bad. And I mean, winning cures everything. But like I
Yes.
said, with Elijah, he's such a great kid. He really is. And hopefully I get a chance to talk to him one day because I'd like to pick his brain because that whole scenario with you guys in the draft and that situation, that must be so chaotic. Like just the whole situation, just because you don't know. It's like, like, I got to ask you, how did you guys feel the next day waking up? Like, did it feel real? Like, because that's a dream come true. Like, do you wake up thinking like, did that really just happen? Like, is this real life? Like, like, what was that process
We
like?
actually did. I think we woke up. We woke up and the TV was on ESPN or something, and they were saying which teams picked which players. And just when we woke up, my husband, I looked at the TV and it had Tampa Bay on the screen. It had all the picks. I'm like, look, look, look. I said, Elijah's name is on TV under an NFL team. Like, this is not happening. Like, it was like,
Yeah.
pinch me. Like, we could not believe that really. Even to now, I'm like, I can't believe that this boy's really in the NFL because he absolutely loves football. His dad loves football. They've always, bonded off of that as well. You know what I mean? They love football. And to see him actually living out his dream was a dream come true for any parent. Because like I said, it wasn't something that we actually thought of until he got to college. And like
Yeah.
when he was playing high school, we didn't think, oh, one day he'll be in the NFL. Never thought about it. We thought about it once he got to, college. Of course you think about it, but it wasn't like, that wasn't the main goal. I just wanted him to
Right.
play football. But when he got to college, it became a reality that this really may happen. So to see it actually play out, it's a wonderful thing. And it's also sometimes it's kind of sad because you see a lot of people that could have made it, should have made it, and didn't make it for whatever. So it's a blessing when they say that 1% of players make it, or whatever the percentage is. It's a
Yeah,
real thing.
yeah,
It's
it's
very
very rare.
real.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
rare
So
too. It's no easy task. Her
no.
nephew, he's young. He's going into his sophomore year. I've been teaching him. A lot of these kids today, they kind of lack the confidence. They're shy, and he likes to play running back, and I just keep sending him clips of Mike Allstott, who was a big running back, and I just keep telling him, man, just don't be afraid. Lower your shoulder and just run somebody over. I promise you,
Yeah.
you do that, you run somebody over. People are gonna start to notice that, and the scouts are gonna start
Yes.
to notice that. I got to ask you, what was it like just growing up and being a football mom? Like what advice could you share to anybody watching this that is kind of going through that, and what can they do? Because a lot of the times we see this all the time. A lot of these parents are very tough on their kids when it comes to this stuff. And a lot of these kids end up hating the sport,
Mhm.
because the parents are so hard on them. What do you think you did positive for Elijah that made him continue his journey playing football?
Well, I didn't want him to play football. I was totally against it. So,
Yeah.
The concussions and all that.
Yeah.
well, honestly, it was me. I just didn't feel like going to the field. I didn't want one more task to me.
Right.
And
I get it.
I didn't
I
want one
get
more
it.
task. I was like, oh, one more thing to do. And
I
then
know,
that's one
as
of
a mom, that's
the
a lot.
yeah. I was
It's
like,
a lot.
then I had 4 other kids. So it was like, it wasn't just Elijah. So I had to figure life. Me and my husband had to figure out life around what he wanted to do. But that's part of the reason. The other reason was he's my little baby. I don't want him to get hurt. But Elijah was always thick and chunky. And like Elijah was 9 pounds, 9 ounces when he was born. So he was a big baby. So him, even though he was a big baby, he had a baby face. So he was my baby. I'm like, my baby can't go in there and get knocked down.
Yeah,
And his dad was like, he's gonna be knocking people down. He's not getting knocked down.
That's true.
So I told him, I said, well, Elijah, I don't know. This is a big commitment because Pop Warner football is practice 5 days a week.
Yeah.
And they play every Saturday. So it's a commitment. So I will first tell parents it's a commitment. And it's a commitment that you have to see through. Because I know a lot of parents may send their kids with coaches and whatever, because whatever schedule, I'm not judging anybody. Sometimes you have a schedule that just wasn't a schedule that just won't work with football. But as much as you can be there, I would suggest you be there, because we would pack up all the rest of the kids. We got a tent, we got chairs, we got blanket, we got a cooler. We packed it up with sandwiches, with juice, Capri Suns,
Yeah.
snacks, because it's an all day thing.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
every level plays. So we made it a point to support him in that, because it's what he wanted to do. But I did tell him before I gave him the okay. I said, okay, well, you got to pick up I want your grades cannot lack if you're going to be going to play football, because, your grades come first. And he ended up being in gifted programs. Like, he really started paying, doing his work and making sure he kept staying on top, stayed on his studies, because he really wanted to play football. When I saw that, he really wanted to play, of course, I just said, okay, well, I'm gonna do my part, you do your part,
Right.
and because he was so thick, he would have to make weight
Mhm.
so Pop one, you make weight every game. You can't be, if you gotta be whatever 110, you can't be 112, 113. You gotta make weight every game.
Right.
And because he's so thick, he had to lose weight. So him and his dad would make him raw eggs, whatever it is that they were doing in there. I don't know, egg whites or something. And then and then they would
That's awesome.
he bought him, and at the time it was so funny because we told the story the other day. We didn't have the money to buy the sweatsuits, the sweat in. So we would
Yeah.
put a garbage bag on him. he would
Hey, it
Do
just
worked.
what you gotta
It
do.
worked.
they said his dad would literally take a black garbage bag, poke holes in it, put his arms in it, tape him up, wrap him around. So he would get up in the morning at 6 a.m. and go run around the park to lose weight so he could make weight. You know what I mean? But he was determined to do that. Me as a mom, oh my God, my poor baby. He used to do this every Saturday. But he was up. Dad, come on, let's go. We gotta go. We gotta go run. So
Oh,
seeing
wow.
his determination made us want to help him. You know what I mean? When he had to go on a diet, the whole house went on a diet. We all went on a diet because we wanted to encourage him to, keep going. And he would always tell Mom, you ain't gotta cook. You don't have to put everyone on a diet because of me. It's just me. I said, no, Elijah, but we all want to help you. We want to push you, to get to your point. So I would just encourage parents to don't be so tough on them, because if they want to quit, so this is twofold, because I teach my kids not to quit, right? And having a bad day does not make you quit. Should not make you quit.
Right.
But if it becomes a pattern, it becomes something you're just not getting, you feel you just can't do, and it's causing you mental anguish, then just find something else to do. That's how I
Yeah.
feel, because your mental comes first. If he's not gonna be happy about it, he can't leave because the coach yelled at him. Now,
Yeah.
I don't like coaches yelling, but that's just me because my mama. However, I do know that coach is going to yell, and you can't quit because a coach yelled at you. Now,
Right.
so as a parent, be active, be in their life, find out what's going. I mean, be in the football world and find out what's going on. Communicate with the coaches, not be rude, not disrespectful, but communicate what's going on. You know what I mean? So I just think this being in their lives, and as far as when it comes to any sport, anything they do, just be there, be supportive. They loved, even to this day, Elijah looks over to us in the stands. If he makes a play or something happens, he looks all the way up there in the family section at Raymond James Stadium, and he looks for us. So just be there for them, no matter what sport they're in. However you can get there and be there. Me and my husband would take turns if another child had a sport. So if Gigi played basketball, he would go one way and I would go the other way, but they would see at least one parent out there. So I would definitely say be in their lives when they're playing these activities, because there's nothing like them having a good game or a good play, a good moment, and not having anyone else to cheer for them besides the
Yeah.
regular fans.
Yeah. Our son Cody, he's 8. He's getting. I'm gonna gear him up to start jujitsu. So I used to box and do jujitsu, but then he was
Wow.
born. Yeah, and I had concussions and stuff like that.
Oh no.
Remember the last one I got at the Social Distortion concert? That
Mhm.
one kind of. I got kicked in the back of the head by a crowd surfer. It was
Oh no,
actually.
Louis.
Yeah. So, funny story is, when I grew up, my father's no longer with us. But my
I'm sorry to
father,
hear that.
my parents came from Portugal, and they came down
Mhm.
here to make a life for themselves. And my father was very big on rock and roll music. And I'm somebody who loves all different types of music. I'll listen to Nipsey Hussle one day, and then I'll listen to Johnny Cash the next day, and then I'll listen to
Mhm.
some R&B music. Like, I'm all over the place with me. I'm just a fan of music in general. But I grew up on rock and roll. And I was kind of very rebellious growing up as a kid. And I listened to a lot of punk rock music, Social Distortion, The Misfits, Rancid, all these bands. And then Social Distortion was a band that very rarely comes around. They're one of those California-based bands, you know, they don't really tour too much. So when I found out they were coming to Boston, I'm like, well, we're going. And so
I wasn't too crazy about that.
I know.
He wanted to go, so I'm like, all right, let me try this out.
The thing is with Social Distortion, and I say this because they're one of my favorite bands, is because the music just really hits home with me, especially getting older now. Like the lyrics feel a lot different. Now I'm like, wow, now I know what Mike Ness was talking about there. Oh, yeah, you know, they hit different. And it's not like, because we see a lot of the music now, it's just garbage. You know, there's nothing that's like true and pure anymore. So with Social Distortion, like I said, the chance to go see them live, I'm like, oh, we're doing this. And I paid for a standing room. I mean, a general admission where you stand on the grounds. And there was another band performing, but Social Distortion, they came on late. They were supposed to come on at like 9. They didn't come on until like 10. So the crowd was kind of restless. And we were like 3 rows from the front. And I warned her. I said, hey, listen, when Social Distortion comes on, the push is coming. We're going to get crunched, you know.
It's crazy.
Yes.
And of course I'm sitting there like, nobody better push me.
Right.
So they come on and Mike Ness is on stage hammering down on his guitar. And I'm like, this is an amazing moment. Then all of a sudden I see her and we're getting like going side to side. So I grab her because I don't want nothing to happen to her. And all of a sudden I'm like, I look up and I'm like seeing him like hitting the guitar and he's singing. All of a sudden pink lights go out. I got kicked in the back of the head by a crowd surfer, not intentionally. Yeah, I just was out of it. And I don't really
Where are they
anything.
pushing y'all to?
Well, I think the problem is when the band hits the stage, like the crowd just pushes. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody.
But how far they're gonna push? That's so dangerous.
It is.
It's just reckless behavior. It's not for me. And he's telling me they're gonna push. I said nobody better push me. You know what I mean? So I'm like, won't do that again.
But it was just one of those things. I don't really remember anything that happened. The previous band that performed, apparently she told me we went back there and we seen them. I don't remember that.
Oh wow!
What did I say to the paramedic? They said for me to go home, right?
Yeah.
What did I say?
I don't remember.
No,
to be honest.
No, you told me no, I have to go back in there or something like that.
Well, no, they told you not to drink anymore. Either don't drink anymore.
Anyways, long story short, I woke up with such a pounding headache.
I can imagine.
It was bad. But they are coming back in September. We're actually.
But y'all can't go. Aubrey already said
I'm not going.
We're gonna go on the balcony this time. We'll be in the balcony. It's less threatening up there. But no, I would like to go because the lead singer, he actually had tonsil cancer and he beat it. And now they're a lot calmer. They're not as aggressive as they weren't really aggressive. They're just a hard punk rock band. But now it's a little bit different. But that's why I was saying with Cody, I don't want him to box because of the trauma and stuff to the head. And I know what that's like because I used to do that. I used to come home, ask her. I used to come home not feeling well. But the jiu-jitsu, I'd like to get him into. I'd like to see him, kind of. I want to do the journey with him. I want to get my black belt. I want to go back and do that again. So I figured that'd be a cool experience for me and him. And if he decides he wants to compete in tournaments and stuff like that, I'd love to watch it. I don't know if you're gonna like that.
Elijah wanted to do wrestling, but I couldn't. I wouldn't let him do it because I couldn't watch that. I'm not gonna watch somebody beat up my baby. I don't even like somebody push him down on the field. I'm like, get off him.
I know.
Don't push him down.
I think I would be the same way. And he knows that too. Like, what would you do if this happened? Then he knows what the answer is gonna be as a mom. You know what I mean? Like, I'd be right over there, like, get off him. You know what I mean? But
that's hard to watch. Even watching football, I'm up there and I'm like, he's like, Mom, I'm okay. It's supposed to happen. I said, why he's pushing you down? Why he's like, Mom, it's supposed to happen. I said, but he gotta stay over there. Like, I don't like it, but I've gotten better. I've gotten better with it now. You know what I mean? So yeah, but I still watch it sometimes like this.
Yeah, you don't want to see a kid get hurt. You know, it's like one of the worst feelings. Like, especially like some of the moms who see some of these football players, like when they tear their ACLs, you don't want to see that. That's just horrible, and it's just a crappy feeling. Well, I appreciate you coming on. let everybody know where they can donate to. And I seen that you and Josh DJ Ups, you guys had a little gathering there.
Yes.
That must have been fun, huh?
It was fun. He's such a great guy. He's
Yeah.
a great guy. He drove all the way down here to
Yeah.
support us, and he's an awesome DJ. So I hope
Oh yeah.
all of Tampa Bay books him because he's amazing. But yeah, the way y'all can donate, anyone can donate to our nonprofit is paying the number 2 purpose76.org and under the donate tab. So the website is paying the number 2 purpose76.org, and that's our social media handle on all social media, paying the number 2 purpose76.
All right. Well, I appreciate you taking the time out. I promise you the audio quality is much better this time around.
Good, thank you.
Absolutely. And I hope to be seeing you guys maybe in Tampa sometime soon. There's another
Yes.
expo coming up. Hopefully we can all catch up and do this again.
Definitely. Nice to meet you, Aubrey.
Nice to meet you.
We got to
Thank
get
you.
online and sing a duet together.
We
Yeah.
will. I'll do that for you.
Okay.
We got to get her. We got to get her going with that because I don't know what she's nervous
No,
about.
I'll do it with her. She gave me some
maybe
inspiration.
starting with me will help her nerves a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll do that. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So Louie, you work on our microphones and our
Okay.
sound, and then me and her work on the song. How about
Yep. Exactly.
I got
Thank
you
you.
guys.
That's
Okay.
a good idea.
Thank you so much.
All
Shanda. I
right.
appreciate
Thank y'all
you.
so much.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
You
Bye-bye.
too.
Bye. That was awesome. I really enjoyed interviewing her. Like I said, she was the first person that I got to interview at the Tampa Sports Collectors Expo. And like I said, Elijah, he came right up to me and shook my hand. And I was like, I know who you are. Like, it was really cool. I'm glad you got that experience. You also have social media. So you're in front of the Frozen Pirate podcast audience. What do you want to say?
My social media,
Yeah,
Instagram.
tell everybody your social media so they can go follow you and see all those funny
I
videos.
think it's like _Bree
Put your phone out.
official.
It's right there.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. I don't know it by heart, but
Let everybody know where they can find you. Oh, she's got her.
it's _Bree _official.
Oh, officially. See that with the blue check mark.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, like I said, make sure you guys go follow her, go give her stuff a like, and maybe when she starts seeing all that stuff blow up with her singing, maybe she'll start doing it more. Right?
You will see more of me.
Yeah. You should go to the expos.
I'll try.
Yeah, whatever. All right, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in on this episode of the Frozen Pirate Podcast. You can follow me on X, Louis FPP, Instagram, the Frozen Pirate Podcast. See, I know that off the top of my head. Very, very easy.
Okay.
Like I said, we got a lot of good content coming. Make sure you guys smash the like button on this video. Go follow her. Go support her and her singing journey. And yeah, that's it. Hey, the camera's up there. Look up there. Camera's up there. Look, cheesy. All right, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, just be respectful of one another. Keep each other safe, man, and respect each other. And that's it, man. Peace. Till next time.